It is indeed, as the sweet singer of Michigan says, irrelevantly, of course, for the one and unfailing great quality which distinguishes her poetry from Shakespeare's and makes it precious to us is its stern and simple irrelevancy. My heart was gay and happy, this was ever in my mind. There is better times a coming, and I hope some day to find myself capable of composing. It was my heart's delight to compose on a sentimental subject if it came in my mind just right. The Sentimental Song Book, page 49, theme, the author's early life, 19th stanza. Baroda. Arrived at 7 this morning. The dawn was just beginning to show. It was forlorn to have to turn out in a strange place at such a time, and the blinking lights in the station made it seem night still. But the gentlemen who had come to receive us were there with their servants, and they make quick work. There was no lost time. We were soon outside and moving swiftly through the soft gray light, and presently were comfortably housed, with more servants to help than we were used to, and with rather embarrassingly important officials to direct them. But it was custom. They spoke Ballarat English. Their bearing was charming and hospitable, and so all went well. Breakfast was a satisfaction. Across the lawns was visible in the distance through the open window an Indian well, with 2 oxen tramping leisurely up and down long inclines, drawing water, and out of the stillness came the suffering screech of the machinery, not quite musical, and yet soothingly melancholy and dreamy and reposeful, a wail of lost spirits, one might imagine, and commemorative and reminiscent, perhaps, for of course the thugs used to throw people down that well when they were done with them. After breakfast the day began, a sufficiently busy one. We were driven by winding roads through a vast park, with noble forests of great trees, and with tangles and jungles of lovely growths of a humbler sort, and at one place 3 large gray apes came out and pranced across the road, a good deal of a surprise and an unpleasant one, for such creatures belong in the menagerie, and they look artificial and out of place in a wilderness. We came to the city by and drove all through it. Intensely Indian it was, and crumbly, and mouldering, and immemorially old, to all appearance. And the houses, oh, indescribably quaint and curious they were, with their fronts and elaborate lacework of intricate and beautiful wood carving, and now and then further adorned with rude pictures of elephants and princes and gods done in shouting colors, and all the ground floors along these cramped and narrow lanes occupied as shops unbelievably small and impossibly packed with merchantable rubbish, and with 9/10 naked natives squatting at their work of hammering, pounding, brazing, soldering, sewing, designing, cooking, measuring out grain, grinding it, repairing idols, and then the swarm of ragged and noisy humanity under the horses' feet and everywhere, and the pervading reek and fume and smell. It was all wonderful and delightful. Imagine a file of elephants marching through such a crevice of a street and scraping the paint off both sides of it with their hides. How big they must look, and how little they must make the houses look! And when the elephants are in their glittering court costume, what a contrast they must make with the humble and sordid surroundings! And when a mad elephant goes raging through, belting right and left with his trunk, how do these swarms of people get out of the way? I suppose it is a thing which happens now and then in the mad season, for elephants have a mad season. I wonder how old the town is. There are patches of building, massive structures, monuments apparently, that are so battered and worn, and seemingly so tired and so burdened with the weight of age, and so dulled and stupefied with trying to remember things they forgot before history began, that they give one the feeling that they must have been a part of original creation. This is indeed one of the oldest of the princedoms of India, and has always been celebrated for its barbaric pomps and splendors, and for the wealth of its princes. End of chapter 44.